Hello, boys. Welcome back to another new video session. And this video session is meant for class 12th biology students, and this is meant for Monday, that is 24th, 24th August 2020. As usual, our memory helps us in understanding and reflecting upon what we have been studying and connecting the past to the present. We have been talking about the structure of DNA, and we talked about various experiments conducted by famous scientists which proved that beyond doubt that DNA is the genetic material. And similarly, there was a central dogma. What is that central dogma? This was proposed by Francis Crick. He proposed this central dogma in molecular biology, and this states that the genetic information flows from DNA to RNA and RNA to protein. As you are seeing, it's from the central dogma is DNA, DNA to RNA, RNA to formation of protein. That means the information stored in DNA is coming back to the proteins. And for this to happen, the DNA should undergo replication. That means it should vertically split. And why vertically? Because of weak hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds are there, as all of you know. So once this double-stranded DNA splits vertically, it forms a single thread RNA. And specifically, since it is carrying the messages in the form of code language, this is called mRNA, messenger RNA. And this messenger RNA, with the help of enzymes, forms proteins. And so proteins are our secrets. And whatever proteins that are present in our body, they are responsible for our phenotype. So this is central dogma. And of course, I also said, if you recollect from your memory, that there is something called reverse transcription also. Transcription, I said just now, DNA to RNA, RNA to proteins. But in some viruses, the flow of information is in reverse direction. That is, from RNA, that is reverse, from RNA to DNA. And it is called reverse transcription, or a scientist by name Temin has discovered this. So it's called Teminism. So reverse transcription is also called Teminism. 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 You must remember this word for your competitive exams, particularly NEET. Teminism. So in Teminism, it is DNA and RNA, they will be reverse. So DNA undergoes replication, and replication gives to RNA. RNA backs with duplicates and undergoes and forms double-stranded DNA. Of course, from RNA, proteins as usual. That's called translation. So you need to remember two important words here. From DNA to RNA, when genetic messages pass on, it is called transcription. And from messenger RNA, which carried the genetic messages in the form of code and helps in the formation of specific RNAs with the help of specific proteins, with the help of specific amino acids, then it's called translation. So there is two words, transcription, DNA to RNA, translation, mRNA to proteins. And what is the mechanism of transcription? The process of transcription takes place, as I said just now, with the help of enzymes. The first and foremost, DNA helicase. Second one, RNA polymerase. And third one, ribonucleotides. And ribonucleoside monophosphate, mono means one phosphate, activates into ribonucleate triphosphate by phosphorylase. Remember, any letter, any word that ends with ASC is an enzyme, and phosphoric acid. Hence, ATP, GTP, UTP and CTP gets formed. And now, what are the uses of these enzymes that we were discussing? So this is how the direction of transcription takes place. So first, you got a double-stranded DNA, and somewhere at ORI, origin of replication, we said, remember, ORI starts, and from that point, DNA starts splitting. So the transcription begins by uncoiling of DNA. Uncoiling. It's in coil, and coil is becoming straight as you are seeing here. Uncoiling. Look at that. Here also becoming straight. Uncoiling. At a specific site called promoter region. There is something called promoter region. And cistron is, of course, you must know, you must remember it as functional unit of gene. It's a gene, it's a functional unit of DNA, cistron. So within this cistron, you have got a promoter region. So it takes place by DNA helicase. Who is doing this uncoiling of DNA at a specific site? It is DNA helicase. That is the function of DNA helicase. And then RNA polymerase 2. RNA polymerase 2 recognizes and binds to promoter sequence. So this is getting bound, RNA polymerase. And RNA polymerase 2, what is the function of it? Synthesizes RNA always from 5' to 3' direction. Already I told you, you must remember this 5', the red one. Red one is the RNA. 5' to 3'. Look at that. This is what the direction. Okay, and already I said 5' means something is attached to 5th carbon, 3' means something attached to 3rd carbon. Remember the structures? I hope you have practiced the attachment of carbons to phosphoric acid group as well as nitrogen base, right? And RNA polymerase 2 synthesis RNA always from 5' to 3'. Hence, among two strands of DNA, one strand 3 to 5 and act as template strand. Look at this. This is 3 to 5. Here you can see this blue one, 3 to 5. And this 3 to 5 is acting as template strand. Template strand is the mother strand of DNA which acts as a replica or say complementary to RNA. Like for example, you got since it is RNA, you know uracil will be there. So normally if it is DNA, adenine pairs with the thymine. But here what happens, in place of thymine, uracil is coming. Again, this is also a neat question exam. So adenine pairs with uracil. So as they see, adenine, uracil. But guanine cytosine remains same whether it is DNA or RNA. So GC. So AUGC, you can see the pairing. This is a complementary base pairing. And there is what we can see in particular, specifically we can see how this pairing takes place. So there is a coding strand and there is a template strand. So you got this template strand which runs from 3 to 5', and once the transcription takes place, RNA is formed. And RNA, you must remember, always 53, 5 to 3'. And as I said, when this is cytosine, this is guanine and cytosine. And this is guanine, this is cytosine. You can see cytosine of DNA. In RNA, complementary base pairing, guanine. Guanine in DNA, cytosine in this. And TA, adenine and thymine. So like this, the uracil also is getting formed. Look at this. So uracil is present in place of thymine. That's how from DNA, RNA is formed. Now there is a bubble, something called transcription bubble. Like that. So here you can see first one is unwinding. Who is doing this? DNA helicase. Unwinding of DNA. And this is ORI, origin of replication, ORI site. And this is active site also. And remember, RNA that is formed is always 53, 5' to 3'. And the mother line of DNA, the strand, is template strand. As we have labeled it here, template strand. And there is RNA polymerase. Look at this, most important, polymer, joining many monomers. That is RNA polymerase. So the RNA polymerase, in its presence in the active site, there is formation of RNA. Transcription is taking place. And also you can see it is forming one loop-like thing. That's how this transcription bubble is formed. So in DNA, there are two strands. The strand that is coding for RNA, this one is template strand. The one that is not coding, it's a non-template strand. And then once the process happens, it's something like 8 base pairs. BP means base pairs. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 RNA DNA hybrid. This is RNA DNA hybrid is taking place. In this formation of bubble is called transcription bubble. And once this happens, and again rewinding is taking place. The DNA is getting rewinded. So many enzymes are doing a lot of functions here. What exactly happens? The complementary base for template strand, this is template, of course, PLATE, template strand, pairs to transcribe mRNA. So the purpose is to form mRNA. When the RNA polymerase reaches the terminator point, synthesis of RNA stops up. So termination is over. Newly synthesized mRNA in eukaryotic is called hnRNA. Sometimes he'll ask you expand hnRNA. Heterogeneous RNA, hnRNA. It undergoes post-transcriptional process by a method called splicing. We will understand what is splicing. The eukaryotic mRNA contains exons and introns. Okay. In splicing, introns are removed. Introns are something that is present inside. Exons are that are present at the tip of the DNA. So in splicing, introns are removed and exons are joined in a definite order. So here what's happening is lot many enzymes are taking place, and those are really responsible for formation of this. And there are two words that you must remember, that is splicing and introns and exons. We'll be talking regularly about this in future classes also. So the basic point is here, the transcription unit in DNA is defined primarily by 3 regions: a promoter region, a structural gene, and a terminator region. So in a DNA there will be 3 areas: promoter area, structural gene area, terminator gene area. Transcription requires, as I said, basic one is RNA polymerase enzyme. The entire holoenzyme consists of core enzyme and a sigma factor. This you must remember. Along with RNA polymerase, there is sigma factor. The sigma factor recognizes the start signal on DNA and directs the binding of the enzyme to promoter region. Just now we said how this RNA polymerase, this one, RNA polymerase, you can see how this is binding to the site. It is because of that sigma factor. That you must remember again. That's the reason why I brought you back. So it is the sigma factor. And the sigma factor, as I said, it recognizes the start signal on DNA and directs the binding of the enzyme to promoter region. It thus enhances the specificity of the transcription. And then you got 3 steps in this. Total transcription process takes place in 3 steps. First one is initiation, second one is elongation, and third one is termination. So all the 3 steps will follow one after other, and lot many enzymes are present. In initiation step, first the RNA polymerase holoenzymes first recognize the promoter at 35 I said just now, 35 region. Okay, and binds to the full promoter region. As initiation continues, RNA polymerase binds more tightly to promoter at -10 region, accompanied by a local untwisting of the DNA in that region. As you are seeing here just now, you have seen this, there is unwinding. Okay, look at this, unwinding is taking place. Unwinding, so that is initiation. And elongation, after 8 to 9 nucleotides have been polymerized, the sigma factor dissociates from the core enzyme. As the RNA polymerase elongates, the new RNA chain synthesized from 5' to 3'. You can see 5' to 3'. The enzyme untwists the DNA ahead of it. So, untwisting it, keeping a single stranded transcription bubble spanning about 25 base pairs. This whole bubble will be of 25 base. About 9 bases of the new RNA are bound to single-stranded DNA bubble, with the remainder existing the enzyme in a single-stranded form. You can see this single-stranded form and this. And finally, a termination. As polymerase transcribes away from the promoter, rho factor, again you have to remember this, RHO, there is a sigma factor and a rho factor. The rho factor binds to RNA and follows the polymerase. When polymerase reaches some sort of pause site, the rho factor catches up with polymerase and unwinds the DNA RNA hybrid. This DNA RNA hybrid will be unwound, resulting in release of DNA RNA polymerase. Hence, that is the end of it. Once RNA polymerase comes out, then this rho factor, I think you have to write something like a P, rho factor. Okay, so the rho factor plays a crucial role. And post-transcriptional modification, the transcription in eukaryotes occurs within the nucleus of That is, all this thing is happening in the nucleus, and mRNA moves out of the nucleus into cytoplasm for translation next to. So after this process, the mRNA comes out of the nucleus and moves into cytoplasm. The mRNA is processed from primary RNA transcript, a process called maturation. Initially, at the 5' end, a cap consisting of 7-methyl guanosine, or we say 7-mg, and a tail of poly A at the 3rd primer added. Now let us see whether we can show this to you. Yes. Let us see whether this can be shown to you. Yeah, this is HNRNA, of course, and this is mRNA. Yeah, this is how. Yeah, you can see here. What we are talking about is this, the cap. Yeah, so you can see the cap. The cap is a chemically modified molecule of GTP. So this cap, what I am talking is the chemically modified GTP, guanosine triphosphate. So the primary mRNA transcript is longer and is localized in the nucleus, where it is also called hnRNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA, or it is also called pre-mRNA. So the primary mRNAs are made up of two types of segments: non-coding introns. Now these UTRs are done. UTR means uncoding, right? Yeah, you can see here untranslated regions. UTR means untranslated region. There are two untranslated, and in between centrally you can see this is the translated one. So you got a starter and you got a terminator. So initiator and terminator is there, and the coding sequences are in green line. So the primary mRNAs are made up of two types of segments: non-coding introns. This is intron. This is intron, and these are exons. So the non-coding introns and the coding exons. So we can I will write here, all these are exons, and this is intron, INTRON, intron. This is also intron, yellow one, intron. So this is intron, and this is exon. So the introns are removed. These introns are removed by a process called splicing. Just now I said. What is splicing? I said the process of removing the introns. The process of removing introns are called splicing. SPLICING, splicing. Okay. The enzyme ligase joins two adjacent exons. These exons are joined together by an enzyme called ligase. That's how the mRNA becomes matured. Look at this structure of typical human protein coding mRNA, including the introns, that is UTRs. This is UTR, this is UTR. So mRNA is a single-stranded polynucleotide chain. The eukaryotic mRNA contains a cap at the 5. You can see here a cap is there, that is GTP, composed of 7-methyl guanosine, of course GUA, guanosine, spelling you take care, and it is absent in prokaryotic mRNA. Next to the cap, it has a non-coding region, as you are seeing, that is UTR. That's a leader sequence. That's called leader. Next to it has initiator codon, starting point, and AUG is the initiating codon. You can remember it as August. Right now we are in August, so you can remember it as initiating codon AUG. It initiates protein synthesis. For all the practical exams, UPSC, NDA, CBSE, you have to remember this AUG. And then we come to the once the process starts somewhere, it has to end, is it? So you got a 5' code, you got a cap, you got a leader, and you got a initiating codon, and then sequence, and then somewhere it comes and it has to stop. Who will do that stop work? That is terminating codons. They are called terminating codons. So next to initiator codon, the coding sequence is present. This is coding sequence, all this. It codes for specific protein and it is called exon. Just now I told you that. And next to this terminator codon, that is, once the sequence is over, you got any of the three. These are called stop codons or nonsense codons. UAG, UAA, UAG. So these are called stop codons, nonsense codons. Okay. Once these codons are there, there won't be matching of codon and anticodon. So the process of transcription ends. So it terminates the protein synthesis. That is the end of the protein synthesis. Next to this, again, non-coding region is there. Non-coding region. And this is called a trailer, containing the termination signal. In eukaryotic mRNA, poly A tail is present at the term. So this is the main structure in the transcription. So first you have to draw this diagram and label it, try to understand what exactly happens. Then now what is that we have done? DNA to mRNA, how it is formed. Only this much I have explained. From mRNA, how proteins will be formed. For that, along with mRNA, we should know two more RNAs. They are called ribosomal RNA and transport RNA, tRNA. So in my next session, I will talk about those two. And then we'll go for the actual process of translation, how proteins are formed in our body. Until then, keep on practicing. Post your doubts in our WhatsApp group. Bye.